Yet more injury worries for Klopp, the player 36% of you need to get rid of, and why we all need to keep faith in Jamie Vardy. This is the Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet. What's the story regarding injuries for game week 11? Up first is Man United. First and Man United in the same sentence. Don't hear that often these days. Despite going off against Southampton, normal service should be resumed in the sticks with De Gea likely to return. The more interesting debate is up top, where Cavani awaits the outcome of any action that could be taken after a controversial Instagram post. If he is found innocent, the Uruguayan surely has to start. He offers a very interesting attacking option. Wolves are going to be without Raul Jimenez for some time after he suffered a horrific fractured skull against Arsenal at the weekend. He is said to be comfortable in hospital and has since tweeted, "To my left." In his absence, it's going to open the door to wonder kid Fabio Silva, who impressed up top at the Emirates in his first big outing in the Premier League. Lucas Digne's injury was announced after last week's episode had already been released, so hopefully you caught the news on our Twitter. Everton are really going to miss the French fullback, who had already racked up 5 assists. He's unfortunately going to miss the entire festive period. Easy on those mince pies, Lucas. Nick Pope is likely to return in goal for Burnley this weekend. I like your thinking, Popey. I see what you did there. Missing City away, clever. Ricardo Pereira is likely to make his first competitive appearance for Leicester in their Europa League game against Zoira Luhansk. I think I got that right. Although he may not be risked for game week 11, keep your fingers firmly on the Ricardo Pereira trigger as he is very close to a Premier League return. Soyuncu is also close to being back in the starting 11, as is Castagna. James Justin owners need to watch this one closely, as it's hard to see him keeping his place when all the defenders are fit. I don't know whether you know, but Liverpool have had a few injuries. Nobody's really mentioned it though. Klopp needs to speak up a bit, doesn't he? Adding to their pretty packed treatment room is Alisson. He's definitely out for game week 11, meaning a likely first Premier League start for Kohun Keller. Seamless pronunciation. We can edit that in later, can't we? Trent, meanwhile, is nearing a return. He's not back for this weekend, but he won't be far off. Okay, let's look at some of the numbers behind some key fixtures this weekend. One game not to concern yourself with in game week 11 is Villa v Newcastle. The Premier League have confirmed it will be played at a later date, so watch out for that double game week. The biggest losers will be Jack Grealish owners, of which there are 36% of you on Dream Team. Fear not, you've got 5 brand new subs to make for December. Do a Grealish and dive on those. Spurs v Arsenal. If you're an Arsenal fan, just skip over this section. You really don't want to see this. Right, now they've gone, I can tell you that Arsenal have not won any of their previous 4 North London derbies. Spurs have not lost at home in this fixture in the league since 2014, and that lad up top, Kane I think his name is, has scored in 9 of 11 North London derbies he's played in. Speaking of 9, that's also the number of games Spurs are unbeaten in, and of course they're top of the league. Spurs fans haven't mentioned that one. But if we are to provide some perspective, Arsenal are only 5 points off the top 4, and a win here actually puts them 5 points behind Spurs as well. But that's your lot really. I don't really have any more Arsenal positives. West Ham v Man United. Are we all being slightly harsh on Ole? If United win their game in hand, they go level on points with Chelsea and 2 points off the top of the table. They come into this one with 2 consecutive away wins against Everton and Southampton, both decent results. And in Bruno, they've got a man who's scored in 7 of Man United's 10 games this season. He's got 3 double points hauls in the past 4 games. Up top, there's going to be an interesting dilemma. Cavani scored 20 points at the weekend, something Bruno hasn't even managed this year. But fit again, Martial has scored more goals against West Ham than any other club, and his Instagram story is controversy-free. But there's always a but with Man United. Nicky, for starters. Man United only took a point off Hammers last year and have only won 1 in the last 5 games against them. And like United, West Ham have also won their last 3 games, making this the tie of the league's 2 most informed sides. The Moyes effect. Liverpool v Wolves. The Diego Jota derby. Wolves have got a cracking record against most of the big sides in the Premier League, just not against Liverpool. Klopp's boys have won all 4 of the clashes since Wolves returned to the top flight 2 years ago, and they've kept 3 clean sheets as well. If we dig a little deeper, you'll find that Mane has scored 3 in 4 against Wolves. The only glimmer of hope will be Liverpool's injury list. Without the likes of Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk and others, Nuno will feel like Liverpool are there for the taking. The naughty step, sponsored by Gareth Barry. Tariq Lamptey returns, which will please 1.2% of you on Dream Team. That leaves the silly Nicolas Pepe as the only man missing through suspension in Game Week 11. Okay, let's get right to it. 3 names we think you have to get in your sides this week. Kevin De Bruyne. You don't need me to tell you this is going to be a goal fest on Saturday. He's got the most assists in the Champions League and is only second to Harry Kane in the Prem too. With Pep consistently rotating his wide men, KDB is the obvious and most sensible choice. And surprise, surprise, Man City have won their previous 2 home games against Fulham, 4-0 and 3-0. And tips for Fulham fans, maybe do something else that day? Reece James. If you don't already have a packed Chelsea defence, are you even playing fantasy football? We could have picked any of Chelsea's back 4. They are all top of the Dream Team defensive point scoring charts. Cheaper than both Chilwell and Thiago Silva though is Reece James. To go with the most clean sheets in the league, James also offers plenty of attacking threat. Only Andy Robertson and Andros Townsend have put more crosses into the box this season. Jamie Vardy, how did he only get an assist last week? Seriously? Well, look, there's only one team in the Premier League without a win this season, and it's Leicester's opponents, Sheffield United. Despite not registering in Game Week 10, Vardy has still 8 goals in 9 appearances this season, and Chris Wilder's men haven't kept a single clean sheet. His record is 7 goals away from home and just 1 at the King Power. Alright, so you're up to speed with who's available. Let's get some predicted lineups coming your way. Right, that's all from us. Just before I leave you, I've got to remind you about our Dream Team fantasy football game. We've got a new and exciting subscription service for you this year called Dream Team Coach. It offers projected scores, fixture difficulty rating, projected price changes and loads more if you're looking for that extra detail when picking your team. It's available really easily in the app and there's a link in the description below. Let us know what you thought of the show. We're working hard every week to give you the most informative video on the internet for fantasy football. Okay, I'm off. Good luck this weekend.